Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all had a safe and fun-filled Labor Day weekend. And we are back for the start of week 2 here in Sports Events Management here at the University of Purdue, Fort Wayne. Again, if you didn't happen to see my first video, I'm Professor Josh Wilson, and I'm the instructor for this course. Each week, I will be dropping either a video or an activity in the announcements section. These videos will follow kind of the same steps throughout. Be a little bit of course housekeeping, a review of the previous week, and then an introduction to the next week. So that's what we'll do today. We'll take care of a little bit of light housekeeping. We'll talk about week 1 and then what we can expect for week 2. Overall, I was very, very impressed with the introduction discussions. Thank you all for reaching out to your fellow students, getting to know each other, asking each other questions, and doing some classroom bonding. I really very much appreciate that. So thank you for doing that, and I look forward to getting to know all of you more and more as the semester progresses. So let's talk about some first things from week 1. Overall, with the coursework, things were great. You all seem to have a grasp and knowledge of the paper test, and we'll talk a little bit more about the paper test in just a moment, but that's going to be the foundation of this course. When I was taking this course as an undergrad, one of the professors, and I promised to cite certain credit, but they said the paper test was kind of like back in elementary school when we were talking about nouns, who, what, when, where, why. For the paper test, you're talking about your promotion, your audience, your partnerships, your environment, and your revenue. So, even if you're doing a charity event or an event that isn't generating any financial revenue at the time, you're hoping to get a return of investment either through, brand recognition, awareness, and all of those things. But the paper test is going to be the foundation of this course, and you all showed a great working knowledge of that in the homework and through the coursework. So wonderful job with that. Speaking of the coursework, just a couple of light housekeeping items. Number one, in the discussions, please make sure in the discussions, if I'm asking you to respond to your classmates, that you're responding with some college level answers and discussion. Typing just "I agree" or "nice point" or things like that really doesn't count as a response. So I reminded a couple of you in the grades for those discussions that I expect you to respond to your teammates if the instructions call for it. If you don't have anything to say, that's perfectly fine, but there will be a slight deduction for that. Along the same lines with the homework, please make sure to read the instructions. If I ask you to type out the question, please make sure to type out the question. I promise it's not busy work, but it does have a point. So after this week, I will be taking off a mandatory deduction if the instructions ask you to type out the question and you do not. Third thing, again, I mentioned this in the introduction to the course. For the homework, I have no problem if you use an AI tool to help organize your thoughts, to wordsmith some things of that nature. Just please make sure you add in a footnote at the bottom of the homework what tool you did use. I think a couple of you did a great job of letting me know either in the notes or in the attachment of the assignment that you used an AI tool, and that's perfectly fine as long as you acknowledge that you did use a tool. I want to remind everybody that for any exams or any final projects or anything like that, you do need to make sure that it is your own work. So I'm pretty firm on that. But as I said, overall, coursework went fantastic for week 1. Grades are updated. Please take a look at the grade book. If you have any questions about your grade or need any feedback on anything, please let me know. Feel free to reach out via email. We can either talk one-on-one via email or set up some virtual office hours if you need it. So overall, great job for week 1, and you can look forward to that following that same pattern throughout the rest of the course. Please remember, unless otherwise stated, that the modules do close at 11:59 p.m. on Sundays, Eastern Standard Time. So that's when the coursework will close for that week, and we'll start the next week. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. So moving on to week 2. A couple things I want you to note in week 2 for the module. Please make sure that you're paying attention to the article that I posted. I am able to access the article on my computer just fine. However, when I try to access it on my phone, it brings up a paywall. Please do not pay for anything in this course. If I need to do another activity for week 2, that is perfectly fine. But like I said, the link does work on my computer. But when I try to bring it up on my phone or my iPad, it does ask for a paywall. So I might switch that out. So just I want to warn everybody, please do not pay for anything. The only thing you need to pay for in this course is the book, or if we do any extra credit events or anything like that, but you do not need to pay for any articles. In week 2, we are going to be talking about costs. Identifying your costs, whether that be renting a venue, are you hiring any labor, are you going to pay any taxes, are you applying for any fees? So events cost money. I wish that events didn't cost money, whether it's you're spending $150 to set up a small local bowling tournament, or whether you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, to host the Olympics. So big range there. So when you go start the reading for chapter 2, please keep in mind that you are trying to identify the costs of your event, both physical costs, sunk costs, reoccurring costs, anything like that. I'm not looking for a 64-page essay or anything like that for your homework, but I do want to make sure that we are, using our critical thinking to identify as many costs as we can to try and outline those. When you're doing your homework, you may have to make some assumptions. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to take off any points if you, make up a make-believe registration fee or something like that. I do ask you, though, to please take your best educated guess. If you have 5,000 runners showing up to your 10K event and you say you're only going to spend $100 on t-shirts, that might not add up. So that's what we have to look forward to week 2. Again, I want to remind everybody, sorry to be so repetitive, but if that article is not working, I will drop another one in the announcement section along with this video. Gradebook is updated for week 1 if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you all for week 2. Have a great night. Thank you so much.